Does your law firm sometimes collect money on behalf of your clients for things like lawsuit payouts? Well, then you need to know how to record collecting on behalf of your clients. If you have any questions about this topic, you can leave them in the comments section below and I'll do my best to help you. And of course, if you feel the video helped you, I hope you will click like and don't forget to subscribe to get updates on new videos that come out all the time. Sometimes attorneys collect lawsuit payouts on behalf of their clients. This money is usually deposited into a different bank account from the operating account. We also need a liability account to represent the amount owed to clients in total for all future payouts. Now, we already have one liability account that represents what we owe to clients for future services. It's the unearned legal fees account. Now we need another liability account that represents what we owe to all clients in total for collections for future payouts. Both liabilities must be account receivable account type, and we already explained this in prior videos. Unearned legal fees is a liability. It represents the total that we owe to each individual client in total for future legal services. And in order to track each client's balance separately, we needed to make unearned legal fees an account receivable type of account, even though it's a liability. It's the same thing with this account, collected clients' funds. It's also a liability. It also represents the total that we owe to each individual client, but not for future services, for payouts from collected funds from lawsuits. But in order to have one account in the trial balance and chart of accounts match the total of individual balances of customers and clients for a specific reason, functionally speaking, we make it in QuickBooks an accounts receivable type, even though the balance is negative, and that's what makes it a liability. You will have separate reports that track balances separately. This method allows you to track the separate balances of each client's retainer service balance separate from what's owed from lawsuit collections and payout balances. You can create two separate reports that track them separately as you set up for collecting on behalf of your clients. So that's why this method is great. Let's set up for lawsuit collections and payouts right now. Savings from lawsuit payouts will be the bank type of account that we put in the chart of accounts, and that will be where the money is physically deposited to, because that's what we know is called a trust account. It's money that the client trusts us to collect on their behalf in order to pay it to them when the lawsuit is over. So let's go ahead and put that in the chart of accounts. From the main menu, we click List, Chart of Accounts. In the bottom left, we click Account, New. Now we know this is a bank type of account because this is where the money is physically deposited. Savings from lawsuit payouts. Save and New. Now what will the next account be? Well, we also need an account to represent the money that is owed to all clients in total for all the lawsuit payouts that we collected and expect to pay. We will call it collections payable to clients, and we will make it an accounts receivable type like we just discussed. Even though we know it's a liability, if accounts receivable is negative, accounts receivable becomes a liability. That's what this is, but it tracks the individual payout balances separately from the normal service fees balances. So let's go ahead and put it on the list. We will make it an accounts receivable type. Collections from lawsuit payout. You can leave it singular if you run out of room. Save and close. And now we have the accounts that we need. Now we have to set up the two separate reports that will help track the individual clients' balances separately. To track the payout balances separately from the unearned legal fees balances, we customize the report called Customer Balance Detail. The first report will be called Collections Payable to Clients, and the second will be called Unearned Legal Fees Transactions. So watch what we do. Reports, Customers and Receivables, go to Customer Balance Detail. That's the best one. Now we're going to customize and filter. And when we filter, instead of all accounts receivable accounts, we're just only going to have in this report unearned legal fees. And I guess we're going to call it unearned legal fees transactions. So when we click OK, it doesn't look much different, but let's make sure we know what it is. Okay, header footer, unearned legal fees transactions. Okay, so that it's clear what it is, unearned legal fees. In fact, when we click View and we save it in the icon bar, we can put the same name, unearned legal fees transactions. I run out of room, that's okay, click OK, and now it's in the icon bar, but it will only show the normal retainer payments and normal invoices unrelated to the lawsuit collections payouts. The other report will be collections payable to clients. Same thing, watch, reports, customers and receivables, customer balance detail, and again the name will be collections payable to clients. So we customize the report and we filter it by the other account receivable account. Collections from lawsuit payouts, click OK. Right now there's nothing, but there will be as soon as we have transactions. Collections from lawsuit payouts. Okay, payout. Now I'll copy it so it'll make it faster to put the name in the label. So now we have nothing because we didn't have any lawsuit payout transactions yet, but we'll add it to the icon bar with the proper label that we just copied. And now when we want to see only the normal services and payments, we go here. But for those very same clients, when we want to see results of collection payouts, we come here to this report instead. And now we'll start our example. First, we have to bill the client in the normal way for services that relate to winning the lawsuit in the first place. This is not on the collected funds report. It will be only on the unearned legal fees report. Watch. If we do 2,800 of normal services in order to collect or win the lawsuit in the first place. So this will be a normal one. Invoice. And we said it was April 15th of, I guess 2017. And this is to Candy. And of course, it's the legal services, $2,800. But most importantly, the account receivable type of account. that you choose must be the normal one that they owe that we're taking from their retainer balance, and we click Save and Close. Now, you notice this transaction is not on the collections from lawsuit payout account, but it is in Candy's section right here in the unearned legal fees transaction. And of course, your trial balance should look like this right before we collect funds from the client or on behalf of the client. Now, let's imagine on the same day that we won the lawsuit, let's imagine we physically collected $50,000 on behalf of Candy for the lawsuit payout from the lawsuit we just won. Now, what will happen in the trial balance at the moment we record physically collecting this $50,000? Well, the savings account, the bank account that we created, which is a trust account just for holding the money, will show up for the first time as a debit balance on our trial balance for $50,000. And since we owe that money to clients for lawsuit payouts, then the account called Collections Payable to Clients, which is a liability, will also show up for the first time as $50,000. Let's take a look how to record it. We use the payments window just like we did all along. We choose the correct client. Okay, now before we put the money amount, let's make sure the two accounts are correct. The money is being deposited into the trust account because this is money that we're collecting on behalf of the client. And notice, even though Candy has many other open invoices, they will disappear when you tell QuickBooks that this is not related to normal service. This is money we collected for them. So notice when you choose the proper receivables account, those invoices aren't there because those invoices were made from the unearned account. And now we put the $50,000. Now, when we click Save and Close and click OK, we can go back to the trial balance and you can see the results are exactly as what we expected. Saving from lawsuit payouts showed up for the first time as $50,000, and collections from lawsuit payouts also showed up for the first time as $50,000. But now the most important thing to check are the two collection reports. If we go to unearned and we go to Candy, we see this transaction is not there. But if we go to this report, collections from lawsuit payouts, you can clearly see that this payment is kept separate from the other normal service invoices and retainer payments because it's a separate accounting for the collected lawsuit payouts. Now we will pay on the same day. We're going to keep $1,700 as our final legal service fee, and we'll pay out $48,300 because that's the way it's normally done. So what will happen in the trial balance when we pay Candy $48,300? Well, lawsuit payouts will become $1,700 because they're $50,000 now, and collection payable to clients will also go down and become $1,700 because we're only paying $48,300 because we're going to keep this $1,700 because we earned it. So this is how we record paying that money. We go to the check window, make sure it's the correct date. Careful, the money is coming from the trust account because now we're paying the client. The client we're paying is Candy Charles. Now watch carefully. You must, in the bottom left, choose the correct receivable accounts. You must, in the bottom left, make sure that you're paying the money from collections from lawsuit payouts. And you have to make sure that the customer job is Candy. That's the way to record the payout. Oh, excuse me, it's only 48,300. Okay, that's the way to record it because it's decreasing the trust account because the money's coming out, and it's decreasing what we owe because we're finally paying. Now, after we click Save and Close, we can open the trial balance and see the results are exactly as what we expected. 1,700 from lawsuit payouts is what's left in the trust account. And right now it still indicates that we owe $1,700 to the client, but that's not right. We really earned that. So we're going to fix that in a moment. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at the reports. When I open collection from lawsuit payouts, you can clearly see that this explained. This was the date we collected the money for Candy, and this was the date we wrote the check to Candy. And right now, until we record a final invoice for the $1,700 that we earned that we're going to keep, QuickBooks will think that this $1,700 is still owed to Candy. Now let's send the final invoice for the remainder of what we collected. And what will happen? Well, of course, income from legal fees will increase by $1,700 because we just earned $1,700 in legal fees, and collection from lawsuit payouts will be 0. And it will be 0 because we will take the remaining $1,700 and declare that we earned it. And that's what makes this $12,700. Very simple. We make the invoice just like we normally would on the same date for the same client for our normal services, and we put $1,700. However, this invoice will not be part of unearned. This invoice is going to hit the collections from lawsuit payouts. This is what will make the final balance 0. We're going to bill Candy for the service, but we're going to take it from the liability account. Save and close, and you can see the trial balance shows now we owe nothing to anybody, and we have increased our legal fees. I guess that's the amount that it increased to. But most importantly, if you look at collections from lawsuit payouts, this report will explain everything to your client. You can say, look, we sent you this invoice against what we collected, and we gave you this check, and that's why, since we collected $50,000, here's the check with all the information we gave you for the $48,300. Here's the invoice that we billed you for the remaining $1,700 that we kept, and it gets even better. You could filter this by customer if you had several. So right now we only have one client. But if you had collected for several, they would all be on this report, but you could click Customize, Filter by Name, N for name, and choose only Candy. And this way, if this report had several clients that you collected from, only Candy would show up here, and you could print this and email it to her to show her these are all her transactions that relate to the lawsuit payout, and these are all her transactions that relate to the normal earned income. Now, in closing, I just want to have you help us with an administrative correction. If you want to continue to match the numbers, please delete the last invoice. And I'm sorry about that, but this is an interjected video, and it's hard to get the numbers to match. So if we go back to unearned, and we go to the April 15th invoice, double-click, delete, click OK. And again, because this was an interjected and fixed video, please delete the invoice you made just for learning purposes so that these numbers in the trial balance will match your numbers going forward in the course. Thank you for working with me on this issue.